What's up, everyone? Today I have for your potential viewing pleasure another LEGO creation of mine. Now, in my last Doctor Who video, one or two people requested a weeping angel, and someone else requested instructions for the Daleks. Something I didn't show in the video because of their complexity compared to the other items, but here they are. Now, we're going to start off with the weeping angel because that is the new creation that I'm showing, and I just have the TARDIS here for a size comparison. And I've said before that my Doctor Who creations are not to be in scale with minifigures. They're more to be in scale with these guys, and it is a bit big, but at the same time, I think it looks pretty good. Now, I was going for a brick-built design because every other Weeping Angel I've seen was just a minifigure placed on top of one of these pieces, and I think the design came out okay. It's got the wings, it's got the dress, gown thing, whatever you want to call that. It does have the arms, even though they're kind of weird. It does kind of fall short in the head because I didn't have a hair piece, let alone a piece in this gray color. And there is some dark gray in the chest, which really shouldn't be there. But all in all, I think it looks pretty good. I especially do like the wings. Now, it does have some articulation. It is a bit fragile, but the arms go forward and back. They swivel on this piece, and they rotate at the elbow. The wings can go in and out, and up and down. And that is about it, but that's really all you need for a Weeping Angel. Next up, we have the Dalek. I'm going to start out with this one because the design's a bit easier. Now, the key piece that you're going to need for this design is this. It's a 1x2 brick with 2 holes on either side. If you don't have this piece, you can't use this design at all. But what you're going to need is 2 of these squarular stud pieces. You just put one on the back and one on the front. Now, you're going to take this 1x2, and the brown, any piece you see on here that's brown can vary, depending on which Dalek you want to make, but the black pieces kind of have to stay black. Then you just put another one on the back here just like this, so it covers up that 1x1 stud. And you take this headlamp piece and stick it on the top here. Now you just take this brown squarular stud, stick it on here, and take this cheese slope and put it on the front just like that. And you can kind of see where this design is going. Now we're going to work on the sides. Take this 2x2, and the corner goes into this top piece right here, trying to reflect the light so you can see it. Just plug that in just like that. Do that on both sides. And take this black 1x2. This is going to make the ring sort of thing that goes around the bottom. I don't really know what it's called, but yeah. And you just cover it up with these tiles just to make it look smoother. And you take this piece, so 1x2 with one stud on the top. Sorry about that, but it goes on the back. And here's the bottom section. And the rest is pretty straightforward. Take a 1x2 with a hole in the middle, and you stick another brown squarular stud in it. Just take this pin, stick it in here, and this is a friction missile. And all that goes on here. Take a 1x2, just a standard 1x2, and that fills in the back. You take this half pin with a stud, and that goes in just like that, and you hit the body. And the head is even more straightforward. It's just a half pin to these discs. I did Sharpie them brown because I didn't like the dark gray. Then you have one of these circular 2x2s. A faucet goes inside all of this and holds it together. And this is just a quarter pin with some studs attached to it. And that makes up the head. So you just slide that in. And what I like is this piece prevents the quarter pin from going in all the way. And it makes the head better to pose with because it stays in place. But there is the classic Dalek design. Next up we have the new design of the Dalek. I do like this design better because it's more filled in a way. It kind of has 2 layers. An inner layer which has all the connection points, and an outer layer which is just like a shell that goes over the parts you don't need to see. First we're going to be constructing the shell, which is 2 of these and 2 of these. Now this, just take one of these 2x3s, and really you could use two of these 2x3s, but I didn't have those, so I just constructed that. And then the rim that goes around the bottom is just a 1x4, a 1x2, a 1x2 tile, and a couple cheese slopes. And there's the outer shell. So just set those off to the side. And now we take our key piece. We're going to take a 1x2, stick that up top, just like this. And take this piece, which is a piece that I only have in white, unfortunately, and because it's exposed, the classic design couldn't really use it, so that's why I used the headlamp. But like I said, this is part of the inner mechanism, or the inner layer, so you're not going to see it, so the color doesn't really matter. We just take a square stud, stick that on there just like this, and this is part of the rim that goes around the bottom, so you just stick it on there, and here's a tile to cover it up. So now you have this. This is where things get complicated. I'm going to take this, stick this on the back. Again, this is one of those pieces that you're not going to see, so don't worry about the color. And take these half pins, stick them in here like this. Just take this piece and goes over it. Doesn't have to be a vent, I just like using that because it's kind of cool. And the fact that this is the piece that goes over it, you can get these in the Lego sets where you can build one of three things. It's usually where you can find these. But you just stick this on the back just like this. And take another quarter pin, stick it in there, and take one of these bricks. So, same thing we used before. 1x1 brick with two studs on either side. Stick that inside the half pin. You just take two of these square studs, stick that on there, stick that on there, and then you just close it off with a tile, just like that. And then you start covering it up with the shell pieces. These go on the sides, and then the black rim goes on the bottom, just like that. And here you have the lower portion. Now for the top section, which is a bit more similar to the classic design. It's just this, which is the same as before, only this time I took a bit of flex tube and plugged it in the gun. And this is where it gets a bit different, because the 1x2 piece you use now has half pins sticking through it. So you just peg that on there, and then you take two of these 1x2 pieces, stick that on there, stick that on there, and cover it up with the tile. So there's this. And there's the addition of this piece, which is a 2x3 with a stud on it. Just stick that on there. It plugs on right in the middle. And this is where things change a bit more. The connection point for the head. There's no half pin sticking out here, it's a stud this time, which makes the head a bit sturdier and also a bit tighter, so it could get a little hard to rotate. But the connection point is the same. You just connect the two halves like this, and there you have your Dalek. And now I have given you designs for both of my Daleks, and I have fulfilled the request of a weeping angel. So, that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.